You didn't
Welcome,
realize.
ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of the Petty and Ill-Informed podcast, where we use our petty and ill-informed opinion. Today we'll be discussing the case of Michael Drejka. I still don't know how to pronounce that properly, but, whatever. Joining me for the first time in weeks, Nikki. Hello.
Hey, I'm happy to be back.
Kevin.
Mickey Blue Eyes. Is that what we're going to call this guy? Michael, what's his nuts?
Michael Drejka. I can't remember I can't pronounce his last name for the life of me.
Well,
I am petty and ill-informed. I am Richard, your stalwart Caligulan Superman host.
Caligulan.
Yeah,
that's a new one. I've never heard of anybody reference themselves as that. Like, do you literally take people's wives away at like dinner parties and you're like, come on, baby?
Prima Nocta is a big thing in my neck of the woods. Firstly, a private message to everyone who reached out to me to give me condolences of the death of my ferret. Thank you. You're all very sweet. I appreciate it. I feel a lot better this week than I did last week. So thank you. I can't pronounce shit, host. I don't know how to do it. It's an odd spelling. Michael Drejka. It's one of them foreign names,
Is it Drejka or Drejka?
Drejka. Yeah, I don't know. The J in it really fucks with me. But before we get to that, we're just going to let Kevin do what he does best.
What?
Talk for 45 minutes of the show.
Yeah. Believe me. I'm sorry about your ferret, though, mate. I mean, that's not good. I was thinking to myself the other day, and I actually had thought to myself, what happens when my wee dog goes? You know what I mean? Because my dog at this point in time, I mean, I love Sam and everything like that, but my dog is unconditional love. You know what I mean? He doesn't look at me weird whenever I leave my underwear on the floor and all that shit. And that's what love's all about. I think he actually kind of likes it when I leave my underwear on the floor, like the way most dogs do.
Wow.
I don't think Esme had any feelings either way about my underwear on the floor. I knew it was coming, and it was still emotionally devastating. I was really crushed.
Yeah. I can really imagine. I can imagine.
Sorry, babe.
Richard, I can imagine. But let me ask you a question. Do you know where Redcar is? Redcar? Is there a place called Redcar in England? You know where that is?
Oh.
It sounds like it's by Middlesbrough or something like that, or Newcastle or something. It's somewhere over there in the Tyneside.
You mean that place in Yorkshire?
It may be, but apparently they're going to have like the world's biggest ska festival in September.
I'm there.
35 quid. And I was just thinking, all weekend long.
Yeah, it's in Yorkshire. It's that place in Yorkshire.
Sounds like fun. A ska concert?
It's going to have the beat and bad manners and,
So you're just wanting to go smoke weed all weekend?
Well, they are going to have musical youth, and the song that they loved the most.
Mm-hmm.
Pass the touchy.
I'm
going left down the side.
It's only 2 hours away from me. That's a car drive.
Well, that's what I was saying.
I have driven longer to go to a concert.
Oh yeah, no, but I mean, what I'm saying is that Sam wants to go. I want to go. We can head over We can go from Larne to Stranraer, get somewhere close to where you're at.
Did you just have a stroke? What did you say?
Larne to Stranraer.
Okay.
Richard knows where Stranraer is.
Yeah, it's the ferry from Scotland to Ireland.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll probably have to go through a border, even though we weren't going to do that. We are going to probably have to go through the sea border to go from Britain to Britain. So I'm going to need my passport to prove that I'm British. And
for some reason, Northern Ireland, even though it's part of England, is in the EU, and England isn't a part. I think that's the the rule that was made in the end.
Well, I hadn't heard the insulation. I mean, to be honest for you, I don't feel bad about that because, I will say Brexit to me was the stupidest friggin' thing that English people
Well,
have done.
okay, so this is my thing. If you're going to propose an idea, at least have a plan for if that idea passes. Do you know what I mean? Don't just say, "Oh, you guys want to do this." All right then, we'll do it. But
Well, yeah, it's sort of like having a vote. If you got together a bunch of men and said, "All right, how would you guys like to have a pink pussy party full of big titted women hanging around? We don't know how we're going to pay for it or anything like that, but let's." I mean, I'm sure you can.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. They didn't have a plan, so why propose the vote if you don't have a plan? That's what I want to know.
I think it's and I will say this, it's actually more honest in a lot of ways than what happens in a lot of places. Who says they have a plan, but they don't actually have a plan.
They didn't have a plan. It wasn't until Boris Johnson, and he was like 2 prime ministers after David Cameron.
Yes.
That a plan was put together, and I'm like, well, this was years between break the vote and it actually happening. If you didn't have a plan, why propose the vote?
No, I know. Bojo, lying sack of shit, basically, in my opinion. But anyway, people, I guess, still love him. But I mean, I don't get it. But anyway, Bojo did say this week, and I don't know if you caught this because it's a sort of a intimate.
If you're about to bring up the Ukraine thing, yeah, I call it.
No. I'm talking about. Well, is that where they says that Tucker Carlson was a piece of shit, basically?
No, I was talking about him saying in an offhanded way, if the Ukraine's suffering so much, they should join the EU.
They're trying to.
Yeah,
and
but
I was like,
yeah, well, they're trying. Well,
you just don't give a shit, do you, Bojo? You do not give one solitary shit.
No,
that's fine.
But what I'm saying is, I mean, let's understand that. I mean, everybody sort of has this weird thing about the Ukrainians. I mean, we're going through sort of the ramifications in America of making promises, right? So, like, we're going to hit the debt ceiling for money we've already spent. You know what I mean? Not money we're planning on spending, money we've already spent. And so we can't actually agree on the fact that we should pay money out that we've agreed to pay. And it's the same thing that happened in Ukraine, if you really want to think about it. Ukraine gave up nuclear weapons, because Europe and America said, we'll defend you. If anybody ever fucking invades you, we'll come to your aid. And now we're doing it. Nobody likes it. You know what I mean? I mean, you can bet your ass that if well, here's the thing. You want to end the thing in Ukraine? Give them a nuclear weapon. That's it. That'll end it right now. Because at that point in time, they'll either nuke each other or they'll fucking catch each other on and say, maybe we shouldn't do this shit anymore.
I just don't think that resorting to nuclear wars is the way forward for our species, Kevin. Call me crazy.
No, I understand.
Giving people that have a need to use a nuclear weapon is a terrible idea.
The nuclear weapon is a deterrent. That's all I'm saying. It's a deterrent. That's all I'm saying. I mean,
where bloody nut jobs like Putin are concerned, it's not. It's a bloody escalation.
Well, yeah, but he's nuts. I mean, that's the thing. There's America has a thing against murdering the heads of state of other countries. I mean, after they tried to kill Castro. But you know who doesn't
They tried to kill Castro. They tried to kill Gaddafi. They tried to kill... Well, they successfully killed Hussein.
Yes. But to my knowledge, I am unaware of the fact that there is anything legally binding Britain from killing the head of state of another country.
There's nothing stopping anyone from killing Putin, but they won't do it because he's good for business. this war on Ukraine has given energy companies the excuse to go, well, it's not costing us any more to manufacture this energy, but we could charge people through the roof for it and say it's all the war's fault.
Yeah, but but here's the thing: we do let Putin get away with murder, literally. In the case of being, and I'm speaking now as being a British citizen, that Putin's death squads can come to Britain and give people the plutonium or palladium or whatever they give them, walk away, and that's them. They're dead. You know what I mean? The case of the injected little thing in the end of the umbrella. That's a big case. But yeah, they just don't. They don't. I mean, they don't have any problem killing people on other people's soil. I mean, to my knowledge, they haven't done it here in America. But that doesn't mean that they haven't. You know what I mean? We would never find out about it if they did. We could keep that a secret. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we could go on and on about how insane Vlad Putin is. And yeah, exactly, Gabby. Who takes over if Vlad dies? Is the next guy more unstable? Because that's what you got to think about. And his guard will be up.
Well, isn't that it doesn't he wasn't there like two guys? There's like a prime minister and then a president, and then they basically had the positions and they swapped them for a while and then they swapped back, and I don't know
why Putin just didn't declare himself emperor or Tsar or whatever.
Well, this is the Xi Jinping idea of, he's basically installed himself as, emperor of the communist state.
Well, he did.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no allegedly. He totally did. That's what's happened.
And then Balloon Gate happened, baby. Balloon Gate.
Okay, you've been going on about this. Go on then. Balloon Gate. Fill your boot.
Yeah, please tell me what's going on, because my sister made some kind of comment today while we were watching Life of Brian.
Yes.
And I'm super confused.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the jaded nephew of a politician's view of what happened.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
All right, this is what happened. The numbers came out for Biden, and they were excellent. The economy was fucking blistering. We've added all these jobs. Everything's going great. Blah blah blah. Here it is. This weather balloon or whatever the fuck it is has been floating around Canada for the last 2-3 weeks at least. They know it's there. And do they care? Absolutely not. Now, let's understand that they are our early warning partners.
Uh-huh.
So Canada knows before anybody knows if we're being attacked. That's how we've always set it up and everything. Canada also has a very, very well-trained and equipped, if not small, Air Force that can take down this thing.
Right.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's floating around Canada, whatever. And let's put it this way. I don't even think it's a spy satellite, because why would you need to? Look at Google Earth. It's the same damn thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody knows where everything is.
It's true.
Down to, I mean, the GPS doesn't even throw off stuff. I mean, back in the day, GPS used to be set up so it would be, a few thousand feet away from the actual thing, so you couldn't use the GPS as a target whenever you were using like smart bombs and stuff. But then they just did away with that. So there's no reason other than atmospheric research to have this thing, this balloon, which we have and use all the time too. And as a matter of fact, the idea, the Operation Mogul, which was when they said that that happened in Roswell, they said that that's what they used as an excuse, was these high altitude, things that were carrying these payloads that crashed. And it wasn't really, that Mac Brazel on his ranch didn't actually find a spaceship. It was just parts of this balloon. But anyway, so it enters into Montana on the day that, this economic data comes out. And do you think anybody knows anything about the economic data? No.
Nope.
Because we're talking about whether we should blow up A freaking hot air
Weather
balloon.
balloon. Yeah.
Exactly. It's ridiculous, pointless. Well played
Yeah.
and really done well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's how I usually see stupid crap like that too.
Yes.
Just well played. Like,
Well played that the half of the population of this not scepter dial, this country that we live in here thinks that that's it. And I think the amount of 12 gauge birdshot actually has sold out now because everybody's like, if it comes over here, I'm gonna shoot it.
Yeah, I believe that's the
I believe that.
response. Yeah.
I'm a shoot that there
So
weather plane that's coming over here. That big
right,
old air balloon.
it's classic. It was classic misdirection, and somebody said, "Look at the shiny, shiny," and then they robbed you from your wallet.
Yep.
That's what happened. But anyway, it's a good story though. I mean, I like it. I like it. But the thing that I'll find down the road is that people won't remember the context. They'll just remember the one story. You
Yeah.
have to sort of talk about these things in context at the time because otherwise the real reason for it is, gets
Yeah.
lost. Gets
Well,
lost.
that's the whole point, isn't it?
Sort of. Sort of. But anyway, that's good. Other than that, we're going along great. And I can't think of anything else. I can't think of anything else that we haven't talked about. We're getting it. We're getting into Sasquatch season.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I wanted to bring this up like 2 weeks ago, but you weren't here. So, and Tom doesn't know anything about Bigfoot. Apparently, Mike Patterson's back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah, why not? That was my result. That was my reaction as well. And for those of you who don't know, Mike Patterson, Sasquatch Ontario, is the dude who was not only outed for all his bullshit, but was thoroughly outed. Like the studio where he made it all, the person that was doing the voices, everything came out. But for some reason, the dude's still here. He's
Right.
recently returned and started again, and we're back to the whole Mike Flower thing.
I'm so excited to watch
Well,
these with you guys.
it's like this, and there isn't anybody in Bigfoot dumb that couldn't come back after proving a hoax and make it. I mean, let's look at it this way.
Oh, Rick Dyer proved that.
Rick Dyer would prove it. Matt Johnson's still working on it. You know what I mean? And all these different things like that. And like I said, you get enough people. There's enough people who follow it. It's like the Teflon Don. It just slides right off you. And the thing that I'll say about conspiracy theories is the fact that somebody tries to prove that you're making it up and they catch you is part of the conspiracy. Then you see what I'm saying? Well, they would say that, wouldn't they? They would say that they've caught me. They would say that. They would have that. I'm surprised nobody had. If I was Mike Patterson, I would say, if you've got any evidence of me saying it's all a hoax or anything like that, that's a deep fake video. You know what I mean? Now that
I just love so it just reminds me of like a narcissist parade.
oh, absolutely.
So I just enjoy listening about the stupid shit that goes on within the Bigfooting community
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's just like, okay.
Well, I mean, it's like there's an interesting thing, and I'm going to say something that's probably cruel, but but it's real, it's realistic. But here's the truth: I've been out with a lot of people Bigfooting, and I've seen them do so. I've seen every one of them do some fucking crazy shit that I would question whether you should do that or not. Whether
Right.
it's getting high or getting drunk or whatever while you're supposedly quote unquote investigating Sasquatch.
That makes it better. I would think that shrooms would make it
Well,
easier to
yeah,
see
but I'm just
Sasquatch.
yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying.
Anything like ayahuasca, a psychedelic of some sort, probably is going to make your chance of seeing Sasquatch way better if you're hunting Sasquatch.
Right, but in a way, I'm actually into that way more than the fakery because of the fact that here's the thing about it. If you look at it from if you look at the Bigfoot as or Sasquatch or whatever you want to call it, as a spiritual being, it doesn't matter if it exists or not. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you commune with whatever you think it is, and it gives you this religious experience. I mean,
Right.
ayahuasca is a religious experience. There's
Yeah,
nothing about it.
100%.
And so from that side, I mean, DMT is a religious experience. I've talked to people
Yeah.
who've done it. You know what I mean? They sit there and have conversations with themselves. You know what I mean? They think that they've split into two people and they're having a conversation with themselves about,
It
how
sounds like you've met some people who have triggered a low-lying mental illness with
who in
something like
me?
acid or something like that. You said talking to themselves.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, this is what they're saying. I don't know. Like I said, I've you know,
I do have friends who use it for therapeutic reasons. I have a friend who, had a really nasty wreck, and he was telling me he had taken some acid, and he thought that he had worked through the trauma of his wreck, but apparently he hadn't. And so
yeah,
he had spent the next 8 hours working on that. And he said he felt a lot better afterwards. Um, most people
yeah.
that, yeah, most people that do shrooms or psychedelics do
Well,
have
yeah.
like life
It's
changing events.
right.
Like,
It's a dumb.
unless, yeah,
Yeah.
unless you're I'm saying mostly safe unless you have an underlying mental health issue
Right.
you don't know about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing that I'll say about that is that everybody, you guys know. I mean, everybody's listening to the show probably knows. I've got PTSD from combat stress disorder and stuff like that. I literally started taking in the last probably 6 months or something ketamine,
Yeah.
and it works really, really well. It works really, really well for the things I want. Now, because I take ketamine, I can no longer be like, oh, yeah, I was out in the woods and I saw Bigfoot. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'd have to be, not that I experience these weird sort of psychedelics, dreams, or anything like that, but the
Mhm.
fact that, you'd have to disclose that you were on that to the point where I would think that, yeah, okay, I'm going to disclose this to the point where my evidence that I'm currently providing is probably not something that would
Now,
stand up.
are
Yeah.
you are you are you going to a ketamine clinic?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. I've thought
It's
about
under
doing that, but it's so
it's under
damn
supervision.
expensive.
It's yeah, it's under supervision.
Yeah.
I'm not out in the woods.
Right, just doing ketamine. I've
Yeah,
started taking ketamine. Okay.
dropping this special K. You
Going
know what
into
I
a
mean?
K hole out there. Yeah, okay, good.
So, but I mean, it's but that's the way it is. But at the same time, now you see, that's what you call an ethical conundrum. And the fact that I mean, although I will say I'm a dodgy guy at times, but really on the whole of it, I'm a fairly ethical person.
You
You know
need
what I mean?
to check out psilocybin because they're showing that a base dose of psilocybin can actually help you for like an entire month sometimes with
Right.
things like PTSD and
Right.
anxiety and stuff.
Right.
And
And to
yeah,
be honest with you, I mean, you guys also know that I've been trained in some druidic, plant medicine and stuff like that. And psilocybin mushrooms basically, was one of the first ways of getting to the next world, the other world.
yeah, right,
And so, the idea of going to the walking between worlds and being able to talk to the ancestors and them, helping you out. Now, whatever that is, whether that's your inner psyche or whatever, I'm no Freud.
right.
I'm no
Uh-huh.
Sigmund Freud. I don't really want to have sex with my mom or anything like that, but she's dead anyway. Yeah. Anyway, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said. I ought not have said that. Well, who used to say that? Was that in Hot Fuzz that they said I shouldn't have said that?
I don't remember. It's been a really long time since I've seen Hot Fuzz.
How do you not remember that? You should. Richard doesn't remember. What's he? Every time
I've
Richard,
only ever seen Hot Fuzz one time in my life. I'm not a Simon Pegg fan.
I thought you were going to say Hot Shots, in which case I was going to
Yeah.
be like, you've seen Hot Shots? I fucking love that movie.
yeah,
I've seen that movie many times.
part deux.
Duh.
Part deux.
It's not my favorite. Like, I really loved Top Secret with Val Kilmer. I think that was the best parody movie ever.
Yes, parody movie, but unknown buddy movies.
Well, not ever, by the way. Sorry.
that I like. With now that we're speaking of that, now that we had Charlie Sheen on, I had Charlie Sheen on my mind. Men at Work. What do you think of that movie? Men at Work.
It was okay.
Never seen it.
Emilio Estevez
Yeah, it had
And
like
Emilio Estevez. There's a name.
and Charlie Sheen. And the best part about it is whenever they get the psycho
they're wearing like white jumpsuits on the cover, I think.
that,
Something
Are
that
they like
yeah.
brothers or something?
yeah, they are
Yeah.
brothers.
In real life?
Yeah, they're half brothers. Half brothers.
Yeah,
Uh,
Naked Gun was good, Gary. Emilio Estevez, when I was a kid, there was a whole bunch of movies he was in and then he just vanished.
Yeah.
It's like Ben
Yeah.
Stiller or Jim
Young
Carrey.
Guns. He was like all over the Young Guns.
Did Mighty Ducks like just take him
Yeah.
out?
I
I
don't
think
know.
Mighty Ducks is the most recent thing I've seen him in.
There's so many films that various actors were everywhere doing, and then suddenly they drop off, like Ben Stiller, Jim Carrey, Emilio Estevez. They're
Ben
in
Stiller's
everything.
still doing movies.
Yeah, but like not to the amount he
Oh
was.
no, yeah, because he's a producer now. He has his
Yeah.
own production.
They
thing.
just
He's-
they just vanish.
Yep.
It's so weird. They're in
It-
everything 1 minute and then nothing.
People that did movies in the 80s that are early 90s that no longer do it. Patsy Kensit.
Oh,
Who?
Ah.
God damn it.
Patsy
Don't. I don't want to talk about it. It's horrible.
What?
What? She looks hot.
She does not look hot.
I'm sorry, Richard. I don't know what's wrong with you. Even Sam got a lady.
She
check.
looks like a disgusting plastic Barbie doll. She's
Who are you
hideous.
talking about?
Right, okay. So Lola's dying.
mom.
Lola's dying, right, in EastEnders. She's got a brain tumor and she wanted to meet her mum. So Billy went and found her mum. And then her mum was like, oh, I don't want anything to do with her. And now suddenly she's turned up on the square. And she's hideous, man. She's got these cold, dead reptilian eyes. It's absolutely horrible. And you can tell she's like 60, 70, and she's had that plastic surgery done.
Come on, brother.
And it's that
It is-
level of plastic surgery
Okay,
that every older woman gets, and it makes them look gross.
so you have some context. Patsy Kensit probably best known as the love interest in Lethal Weapon 2.
Okay,
The lady from
I know.
South
Nope,
Africa.
you don't have to tell me. I already know who she is.
No. She's best known because she's Reggie Cray with her Godfather. That's how she's best known. All right.
Okay, yeah, I'm talking about what Americans would know. Most people don't. Most people, unfortunately, Richard, don't know who Reginald Cray was. They don't know the original faces of Gangster Britain, even though Reggie and
Everyone knows who the Crays are since Tom Hardy did that I Am Legend film. Everyone know no, not Legend, just Legend.
yeah.
Everybody knows
This was
who.
what about. Is that the part where the Cray twins went crazy with Will Smith?
Yeah. Okay, I got my movies, but everyone knows who the Crays are now because of that movie. All right.
Could be. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for
So
the.
she shows up and she's got this bit part, and I'm like, oh, thank God that's over with. And then she comes back, and it's getting creepy now. Because
she's going around raging people in the square now.
like she attacks that little girl, And then she posted a bunch of money through Lola's door, and I'm like, just fucking say hi to her.
Right.
Wow. So I'm looking at pictures of her.
Yeah.
She's gained
She's
a lot of
hideous.
weight. I was gonna say at first, there's no way Richard would be into her. She's too skinny. But I see that she's gained some weight. But then no, I see the. You're correct, Richard. She's had some absolute cheek fillers. So much cheek filler. She's had a lot of cheek filler.
She's
It looks like
plastic.
she's had a nose job as well.
Well,
She's
yeah, but
too
you see,
plastic, and
this-
she's got cold, dead eyes.
Yeah. See, sometimes English women for me can be very hit or miss. Irish women usually are very beautiful to me. I don't. There's just something about them. That's the way it is. As long as they're not redheads, which I mean,
What's wrong with redheads?
Huh? Well,
What's wrong with redheads?
no, it's well, to be honest with you, redheads are awesome to go out for about 2 weeks.
And then
because they're crazy as fuck, dude.
All right, Nikki, I'm going to burst your little bubble here. You're not a redhead, all right? You're blonde.
No, I was wondering why, because I know
No.
I'm
saying is that if you were going to go into like a bar fight, you'd want a redhead with you,
right?
You know what I mean? Because she's just going to take care of fucking business. But being in a long term, and I have been in a long term relationship with a redhead. It was very up and down. It was all over the place, and
it was up and down, side to side.
I mean, it was.
It sounds like a great time.
Yeah, diagonally. But yeah, anyway, so she's ruined EastEnders for me. I'm not really emotionally invested in any of the plot lines at the moment, except for Suki and Eve. And that seems to be completely ignored.
Yeah, that's just like, that's gone away. I mean, I mean,
don't even get me started on the whole Zach has HIV thing. I couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah, but
I couldn't give a fuck if he has full-blown AIDS. Whitney's fine. The kid's fine.
Yeah. Well, you see, here's the thing, right? Whitney is my little crush. My crush. Whitney is my.
Okay, that is gross because she's been in that show since she was a minor.
Okay.
So that's kind of gross.
Okay.
He's been watching it since he was a minor. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. She got older as I got older, Putz. It's not like, what was that film where the guy goes, "Oh yeah, how old was your first girlfriend or first time you had sex?" Oh, she was 12. Yeah, it's okay if you're 12. You know what I mean? It's not okay if you're 25.
Okay, I refuse to believe that when Whitney was 12, you were 12. Okay, no, that's not how that works.
Okay, you realize that I didn't. Okay, I haven't seen. Here's my story on EastEnders, because the way that they showed it in America, they showed it on BBC in America for the longest time, and then one day, whenever America decided to go down the toilet and have nobody watch it, they decided, oh, we're just going to get rid of like Charlie Dimmock and EastEnders and all those different shows like that. We'll just get rid of it. You know what I mean? We'll just show some other shite that people don't want to watch.
I'm glad they got rid of Alan Titchmarsh, though. I mean, have you seen Charlie Dimmock recently?
I'm sure she's
like a fucking elephant. She put on so much weight, it's ridiculous.
But you can't. Okay, well, she had a very physical job, and you can't tell me that you didn't like the fact that Charlie Dimmock didn't wear a bra.
No, yeah, I was very pro Charlie Dimmock back in the day. I mean, but Father Time has not been kind to her. Let's just put it like that.
Well, who was that? If you look at people who didn't age well, and maybe she didn't want to age well, is that Kelly? Is it McGillis? Kelly McGraw? The one that was in the original Top Gun, the love interest. She's very.
Anyway, I've let you meander around.
Okay. All right. Have I taken up enough time? Okay.
I've given you a leash, a lot of slack.
Draw a line.
Now I'm pulling the choke chain in.
We're going to draw a line under it, and let's get serious.
Yeah. All right. So Michael Drejka, I looked it up. It's the J is just.
Told you.
Like it's like Draker Noir.
Yeah, sure.
So this is the story, right? We've all got some cause that, for whatever reason, will champion more than anything else, right? For me, it's feminism. I'm a huge feminist. Nikki's, goes for the incel cause. She's a massive incel. Kevin, shitting in national monuments for some reason.
That's his thing.
Hey,
That's the hill he'll die on. But we've all got that thing.
hey, it ain't shit unless I've taken it.
But seriously, we've all got a cause that we'd fight for, for real. For whatever reason, Michael Drejka's cause was a handicapped parking spot in a convenience store in Clearwater, Florida.
Oh, Jesus, this is in Florida. Okay.
Yeah,
I was just buckling in.
It's not actually that bad by Florida standards.
Oh, okay.
Unbuckle yourself, because it's a pretty open and shut case. Anyway.
Okay.
So, he loved this handicapped parking space for whatever reason, and if you parked there and you weren't handicapped, he was going to have words with you. He'd get in people's faces. He'd say, "You can't park there. You can't do this. You can't do that." He'd take pictures of their car and forward it to the local police station, right? He was obsessed with keeping this handicapped parking space only for the handicapped, which, gotta be honest, it's not a bad cause. The handicapped people need that parking space. That's why we have them. And people parking in those spots when you're not actually handicapped is a dick move. I think we can all agree that.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. So, on July 19th, 2018, he was doing his usual spiel of protecting this handicapped parking space from the evil forces. When the McLaughlin family pulled in, Mr. McLaughlin and his son got out and went into the store. Presently, Drejka shows up. Do you know what? I'm just going to show you the video. I'm not even going to comment on it. I'm going to show you the video. How about
Richard,
that?
Before we get going, okay, what? Okay, and I'm sorry if I was in the middle of just doing something real quick. What country and location is this, please?
Clearwater, Florida.
Oh, okay, this is going to be good then.
It's not actually that bad by Florida standards. I mean, I keep saying.
He wasn't
Right.
listening, is what he just said. Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, okay. So we'll just go ahead and I'll just show you the video of what happened, right? So this is just before it all happened. This is the handicapped parking spot right here. And you can see the McLaughlins have just pulled in. None of these people are Drejka. We just see, they're just wandering off. He's just, she, maybe, I don't know. Could go either way. Man buns. They're a curse. And, here's Mr. McLaughlin and his son. They're walking into the store. Everything's fine. Everything's dandy. Look, got an attractive young lady here. She's walking into the store. Oh, here comes Drejka. He's in this car right here. Just pulling up. Now, I don't think that's a designating parking spot right there because there's no yellow line. I think he's just parked his truck there, just as illegally. Take that for what it's worth. Oh, shit, I skipped ahead. He's gotten out of his truck now. He's going to have a look at this little car here. Oh, what's going on here? Are you handicapped? No, you're not. Yeah, I don't think you should be parking there, should you, love? Nah, you don't need to be there. You need to leave. Get out of here. Fuck off. What? Come on, get out of here. Get out of here. I'm just filling in what he's saying, right? You guys watching?
Right.
Right. Yeah, fuck off. Get out of here. Leave. Go. You suck.
Okay. Does he own this business?
No, he's got nothing to do with this business, and the convenience store owner has actually told him to stop doing what he's doing.
Okay.
Okay, so
So he's basically trespassing.
Yeah. So he's like, "Hey, get out of here!" He's yelling at
At
the
a car
woman.
that has. Oh, okay. There was a woman in there.
There's a woman in there. He's
Okay.
yelling at the woman, telling her to get out of the handicapped parking space. All right. Okay, get out of here. You suck. Leave. The other owners are like, "Oh man, this dude's nuts. Well, let's just walk away from this situation." They go into the store. It's actually going on for longer than I thought it was. Here comes Mr. McLaughlin. Hey, what are you doing with my woman? Get away from her. Wham! Drejka hits the door. Drejka pulls out his gun. Drejka shoots Mr. McLaughlin dead.
Oh no.
Jesus Christ!
So Mr. McLaughlin runs back into the store where he does bleed to death. So, that is the situation.
Right? And
That-
was he using some stand your grind defense that they have?
Yes, that is the controversy that surrounds this case. Is that Drejka tried to use the stand your ground defense in court, and it's pretty clear to see that the dude backed off when the gun was pulled. He was like, "Whoa, I don't want no trouble with this."
Yeah.
Right.
But Drejka pulls out his gun. Drejka shoots him. That's what happens.
Right.
And it goes to court. The police interview, if you can find it, is actually worth a watch because it shows a good insight into the kind of man Drejka is. He uses a lot of police and military jargon. He uses jargon.
Yes.
He uses the terms like neutralize the target.
Right.
And
well, not necessarily what military would use, or it's what you think military.
Yeah, it's television, military,
in movies.
Yeah,
Yes.
which piss off. Like my sister has found out a bunch of them that piss off her. That triggers her DM for D&D nights. So she has started intentionally using things that you hear on TV that she now knows are wrong.
Right. We need to liquidate that asset or something.
Yeah. He uses a lot of jargon like that, and it's quite. And then it goes to trial, and he says that it was he acted in self-defense. It was a stand your ground. Now I agree with the stand your ground law. I think that is a law that separates justifiable homicide from unjustifiable homicide. If someone comes upon you intent on doing harm, then you have the right to plant your feet and stand your ground with whatever force. I don't think that situation was a case like that,
especially since he was the antagonizer in the first place.
Right. Yeah. I would have to tend to agree. As a person who carries a gun and has all these different things, I would say that from that standpoint, that's really not a situation where you would be justified and even sort of taking your gun out of the holster, at that point.
Exactly.
And so, you're escalating it to the point where that's the thing, right? They say never take your gun out unless you're planning on using it. So obviously, the problem with a lot of these things are, Richard, is that I agree with gun ownership. I don't agree with the fact that literally what gun ownership entails in America, which means I have $500, you have a gun. In a lot of situations, it's like, here's your money, here's your gun.
Yeah.
I don't know how to clean it. I don't know how to load it. I don't know. I don't know how to do it. I basically, because I've watched TV, know which end the bullet comes out of, but I might not even know how to load the clip or the magazine. These are the things that are really unclear, and guns can, just by the nature of how they are, be very dangerous if you don't know how they work, especially guns like Glocks and Walthers and stuff like that don't have an exposed hammer or something like that. You've got a striker system where you basically at some point in time have to cock the gun back and pull the trigger to get it to come apart, and you can get an accidental discharge really easy and kill somebody in the apartment next door because you didn't know how to take your gun apart. And at that point in time, being a well-trained militia doesn't mean knowing how to take your gun apart. Now, to be honest with you, as a person who's been around military people, knowing how to take your gun apart and service it and knowing how to take care of it and everything like that is the minimum standard for having a gun. But apparently that's not true. I mean, there's the rub, right? You've got to be able to assess the situation and you've got to do it. But, and that's no defense. You know what I mean? You can't roll up on somebody, bully them around, and then say, because if you're going to bully somebody and then they're going to say, hey, fuck off, buddy, get the hell out of here. Is this your store? I mean, that's what I would have said, If I was parked in the spot and then he said to me that was it, I would say, is this your store? This is private property. You can't tell me what to do on private property. No, I mean, imagine, is this cat some sort of a sovereign citizen or anything like that?
No, he's not a sovereign citizen.
Okay, but let me ask you this question. So let's say, who was that dickhead that used to live around here? That was in with the cops that disappeared. Could you imagine those two going at it? It would have been gunfight at the OK Corral because it would have been like, you can't tell me to get off this. This is what you own this property. No, then you can't tell me what to do. You know what I mean? It's like the different ways that people would interpret the Constitution or whatever lead to a strike point whenever it comes down to everybody has individual rights, but nobody has a collective responsibility.
But there's the fact that Drejka lied as well during the police interrogation. He said that the Mr. McLaughlin pushed him to the ground and then started advancing towards him and continued to advance towards him even after the gun was drawn. But we can clearly see that he backed off in that camera, in that video. I do not. Obviously, there's a large group of people in America that believe that socialist zombies are coming to eat their guns or whatever. And so the Second Amendment is, a hot button topic. And, some people will defend people that don't deserve a defense simply to defend the Second Amendment.
Right. But that's short-sightedness, in my opinion. But then they would look at it like, okay, well, if we let this guy loose, it's the slippery slope. It's the slippery slope. You know what I mean? And so
I don't think it had anything to do with, with what weapon he had. If he had a knife, he would have knifed him.
Right.
He was clearly a little man with little man syndrome that wanted to kill someone.
But let's look at the implications of what you just said from a societal standpoint. If he had a knife and stabbed him and he bled to death, nobody would have defended him.
No, exactly. It was just a gun issue.
Right. So by the very nature of using the handgun in that scenario, he actually was afforded more support than if he would have just taken a rock and beat the guy's head in.
Yeah.
And that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know if I'd call it murder, manslaughter.
What was I would say
manslaughter is the charge he ended up catching for it.
Unlawfully taking another person's life. I mean, that's that all day long. You know what I mean? Whether you have the elements to prove murder and all these other things, that's a very tough one, and people don't understand, that aspect of it, So he unlawfully took another person's life. There's no doubt about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What degree you want to be on it, but for whatever reason, if somebody takes another life, I can't imagine that guy. What did he get? What was his term that he ended up getting?
Life.
Oh, he got life.
Yeah. It was a big deal. He went down. He went down really hard. There was a racial thing attached to the crime. I don't think the crime. The only thing I will say in Drejka's defense is I don't think the crime was racially motivated. I think that person could have been anyone of any color, and Drejka would have shot him because Drejka was looking for an excuse to shoot someone.
But as we said, before the show, if you're going to whoop up on a black guy, make sure that you're black. You know what I mean?
No.
No, I'm just saying, that the cross racialization of a situation does create extra problems.
Some people are just dickheads and they're looking to hurt other people.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter what color they are.
No.
They want to fight. And
Absolutely.
it's not always racially motivated.
No.
It's just that some people are just dickheads.
Exactly. So, I mean, you know what? I think that there's a situation where, here's the thing. If you're ping-ponging somebody off some freaking curb or something like that, you came into that situation wanting that to happen. You're just looking for a reason to keep on going. And so, and that's the way it is. And so the situation is, unfortunately, that, some people shouldn't be in positions of power, or some people shouldn't be in positions of being responsible for other people. And so,
people, as fucking messed up as it should be sounds, and I know this is controversial, but some people should not be allowed guns.
I totally agree. Totally agree. 100%. 100%. And if somebody ever came to the situation and said to me, Kevin, based on what you've said, in your situation, your psychiatrist has said you probably shouldn't own a gun, and they said to take it to me, I have to get rid of them. You know what I mean? I wouldn't feel safe. But then but that would be the nail in the coffin for me living in this country, because I would move to Britain where I would feel more safe. Because although some people have guns, not everybody has guns. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He did try to get a retrial, but it was absolutely denied. To this day, he maintains his innocence. He says it was self-defense, even though the CCTV is free for anyone to look at.
We don't know any Floridians that would be convicted of a crime and then say it wasn't his fault. I'm surprised that the deep state wasn't out to get him. You probably should have said that. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, that's my takeaway. Yes, people in Florida should not be allowed to have guns. Yes, so far that's my takeaway from this. As much as controversial as it is, as much as the Second Amendment is a thing, some people should not be allowed guns.
Well, I think this: if you can't pass the Black Advanced Placement history test in Florida, then you shouldn't be able to get a gun.
What's that?
Well, no, they did away with that, so therefore nobody should be able to get a gun. No, they had a history of like black people in America or whatever, an advanced placement test, and it was too woke. It was too woke because apparently they had shoehorned in the fact that some gay people are black too. That's okay, but then
people are gay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That happens, and some people who have discussed the black experience in jazz and things like that probably have been homosexuals, and we probably shouldn't let people learn that. So we did away with it because that's too woke, and some people who like jazz. Here's the thing, right? You can still get an advanced placement test on Japanese history, Italian history, the history of Europe, the history of the bug coming out of my ass, but not if you're black in Florida. That's kind of sad. But anyway, I don't live in Florida, and that's fine.
Indeed, a good sentiment to wrap the show upon. I feel that you don't live in Florida, and that's fine.
I don't live in Florida and I miss it, dude.
That
Well,
I
makes
miss it so much.
I'm not against people living the way they want to, but I mean, I'm saying this: if we do live in a constitutional country
Yeah.
that allows you to have certain rights and everything like individual rights, I don't understand how in the one case you have this individual right just because somebody wrote it in a. I mean,
Right.
let's
Yeah.
let's look at it. I mean, at the time the Constitution was written, I don't know what was the population of the United States. It was probably less than. So the 13 colonies probably had less than the population of friggin' Miami in it total. So who cares if your freaking neighbor has guns? He lives like freaking 3.5 miles away. You know what I mean? It's not like you're living cheek by jowl on top of somebody. You know what I mean? And so all these different things happen. But I mean, if you want to live in a thing that's safe and you've got this community responsibility, but I guess I mean, here's the thing. Because I say things like community responsibility, the responsibility to the greater whole, which is defined as citizenship by a lot of people. The idea of citizenship, of doing things for the country and doing things for the group and everything like that. That's now looked at as communism and socialism because I want to do things for my fellow citizen. You know what I mean? I don't get it. I really do. I don't get it. But that's the way it goes. You know what I mean? So, unfortunately, that's the
well.
way.
That'll do it for this week. We will return next week, despite the hopes of many, where we will discuss Jill Easter. Because why not?
Yeah. Well,
It's a hell of a lot of
I
case.
remember growing up in Ireland, and then nobody liking the cops for a long time. You know what I mean? And then the cops came back to certain Catholic areas in Belfast, and I mean certain such situations where people were trained at that point in time to have no respect for cops because cops used to abuse them. This whole. I'll make this quick, Richard. All I'm saying is that places will be.
I just wrapped up the show, Kevin.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
over.
All right.
Okay. I said the line. It's done. I gave you 30 minutes to get it all out of your system.
I know.
You can't come in the last 5 minutes. All right, you can't. It's not
I
cool.
love you, Kevin.
You
Okay.
can't blame a guy for trying.
No, I can't. No, it's
You
part
know,
of your charm.
when I was in high school, I'd go around asking, and then whenever it was the end of the night, I'd still ask again because I'm going somewhere, going with somebody, baby.
All
So
righty
you
then.
watch Big Mouth, Kevin, because you remind me of the retarded hormone monster sometimes.
Big Mouth is so funny. I was at least you didn't say I was. I reminded you of Coach Steve.
Wait, do you think that his hormone monster is not as bad as
Okay, but on that note, the show's wrapped up. I'm not asking.
sorry?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're done. See you next week, everyone. Goodbye.